Hi, I'm Alex Anders, and this is Bisexual Real Talk. And today I'm going to be talking about Harry Styles again. Why? Because this week, Harry Styles came out. And it's not clickbait. I'm being serious. Harry Styles came out. And I'm going to talk about that as soon as I mention these things, one of which is, do you notice what I'm wearing? I'm wearing my Powered By t-shirt, and I love it. I love it. And if you'd like to check this out, you can go to Teespring right now and get 15% off the purchase using the promo code HOLIDAY15. I'll talk more about that at the end of the video. Also, I will mention that at the end of the video, I will be playing a sample from my latest MMF Bisexual Romance audiobook called In the Moonlight. The book is funny, and it's kind of like tear-jerking, and it's sexy as hell, and you can listen to a sample of it at the end of the video. But until then, let's talk about this, because this is actually interesting and kind of important. So what happened this week? Well, this week, Harry Styles' album came out, and before it, he did an interview with the writer Tom Lamont for The Guardian. And he was very open about his sexuality and stuff. And I'm going to read you a couple of excerpts, but if you want to read the entire article, a link to it is in the description below. So Harry Styles, they talk about a lot of stuff, and then eventually they start getting into the album and stuff like that. But Tom asks him about his style of dress because, he will wear women's tops and stuff. And Harry says, I think it's very free and freeing time. I think people are asking why not a lot more, which excites me. It's not just clothes where lines are being blurred. It's going across so many things. I think you can relate it to music and how genres are blurring. And then the interviewer asks, says sexuality too. And Harry says, yep, twice. And then the interviewer says, and the interviewer was so good. The interviewer says, there's a popular perception that you don't define as straight. The lyrics to your songs, the clothes that you choose to wear, even the sleeve of your new record. All these things get picked apart for clues that you're bisexual. Has anyone ever asked you, though? And Harry replies, I guess I have been asked, but I don't know. Why? Interviewer asks, you mean why ask the question? And Harry says, yeah, I think I do mean that, which means that is not what he meant. But he says, yeah, I think I do mean that. It's not like I'm sitting on an answer and protecting it and holding it back. It's not a case of I'm not telling you because I don't want to tell you. It's not, oh, this is mine and not yours. In which case the interviewer asks, what is it then? And Harry says, it's who cares? Does that make sense? It's just who cares? And this is where the interviewer is really showing his mettle. The interviewer says, I suppose my only question then is about the stuff that looks like clue dropping, queerbaiting. Because if you don't want people to care, why hint? Take the album sleeve for fine lines with its horizontal pink and blue stripes, a splash of magenta. The design seems to gesture at the trans and bisexual pride flags, which is great, unless the person behind it happens to be a straight dude sprinkling LGBTQ crumbs that lead nowhere. Does that make sense? Such a brilliant question. Like that, seriously, Tom, such a great question. In which case, Harry says, or it says, Harry nods, and then Harry says, am I sprinkling in nuggets of sexual ambiguity to try to be more interesting? No. That's not the question Tom asked, but that is the question that Harry posed and decided to answer. In which case, he goes on to say, as for the rest of it, in terms of how I want to dress and what the album sleeve is going to be, I tend to make decisions in terms of collaborators I want to work with. I want things to look a certain way, not because it makes me look gay or because it makes me look straight or because it makes me look bisexual, but because I think it looks cool. And more than that, I don't know. I just think sexuality is something fun that's fun. Honestly, I can't say I've given it more thought than that. Yeah. Now, I know I started out this video saying that Harry Styles came out. Harry Styles did not come out as bisexual. I think, though, what is very interesting here is what he was very honest about, which is the part when he goes on about, am I holding back? Am I sitting on an answer and protecting it and holding it back? It's not a case of I'm not telling you because I don't want to tell you. I think what he's saying there is that he genuinely doesn't know. Honestly, it's not that hard to figure out that you're heterosexual, because we are born assumed and assuming we're heterosexual. We look at the rest of the world, we see what they're doing, that's what the majority is doing, and it's like a default setting. So for you to think that you're not heterosexual, that means there has to be things going on. You have to be thinking things or experiencing things that make you believe that the norm does not apply to you. So clearly Harry Styles is going through something which is making him consider that the norm does not apply to him. And he does not know. He is saying that he's not sitting on it, he's not holding it back. He simply doesn't know, which is fair enough, because, Lord knows, as bisexual dudes, we go through this. But odds are, man, like, if you are experiencing something that makes you think you're bisexual, odds are much better that you are bisexual than you're not. Who knows? Is he having sex with other dudes? I mean, from this, I would guess he's probably not, because otherwise it would be clearer to him, and it isn't clear. Like, this seems to be the type of thing that a mostly straight dude goes through, a hetero-flexible sort of dude. So a person on the Kinsey scale, it's not right in the center, but closer to the heterosexual side. That seems to be what he's expressing. But I mean, clearly he's going through something, and he just simply does not know what his sexuality is, and he's not giving it too much thought. Just like, a lot of bisexual men do. But I said that he seriously did come out about something, and I wasn't joking. Harry Styles came out in this interview. In a part that I did not read, he talks about his choice of clothing. And he says that, he implies that he will wear women's clothing. And he says that if he sees a top and he likes it, and someone tells him it's a female designated top, that doesn't make him want to wear it less. And you can see from his clothing styles, like he obviously borrows from the female side of the clothing store more often than not. And an interesting thing you have to add on to this is, if you've seen like a lot of recent pictures with him, if you saw him singing on Saturday Night Live, if you saw him in this, like the pictures for this interview, if you've seen other pictures of him, recently he is, or maybe he's been doing it for a while, but suddenly the pictures are all just kind of showing up this way. Recently there have been more pictures of him with painted fingernails. Not black. We're talking light yellow with little things drawn on them, pink, light blue, very traditionally female colors on a gesture that's traditionally female. And now when you add his expression, the way he chooses to express himself in a non-gender conforming way, this all adds up to Harry Styles coming out about his gender expression. Objectively speaking, Harry Styles is genderqueer. Like, objectively speaking, what's the definition of genderqueer? It's a desire to not follow the norms of your gender. Genderqueer. That's all genderqueer is. Just a desire to not, or an expression or desire of not following your gender's norms. And Harry Styles 100% is saying that he does not follow the gender norms of his gender. He's saying that he is genderqueer. Is he using the term that most genderqueer people use, which is queer? No. And I would never put that on him, because Lord knows I hate it when other people put the word queer on you. But objectively speaking, this dude is genderqueer. And what does that mean? That means that Harry Styles, without question, is now a part of the LGBTQ community. So him waving around a rainbow flag, yeah, if it represents an LGBTQ community, then he has 100% right to do it. Bisexual flag, that's still up for debate. But is he LGBTQ? 100%. So from moving forward, will he be queer baiting? Well, I think if he continues to do things that suggest that he's bisexual, then 100%. He will absolutely continue to be queer baiting if he's implying bisexuality and not kind of giving any sort of conclusion to that. 100%. But if he just waves around like a LGBTQ sort of symbolism, then no, he's embracing what he is. And he is 100% saying from this article and from all the things that he's been doing since this album has come out, been expressing himself as genderqueer and has come out as genderqueer. I did not expect that. I did not see that coming at all. Like, I guess because, you know, we have this also default to think in terms of sexuality as opposed to gender expression. At least I do, and I think most people do. I didn't even think to go there. But that is 100% what he's saying and 100% what he is. And I think it's also very interesting because I think there's a number of bisexual men who kind of go through this kind of confusion about who they are because of gender expression. Because there's no strong correlation between queerness and bisexuality. And although there are a lot of women who like to identify as bisexual women who like to identify as queer, and they try and put that identity on specifically bisexual men, that's inaccurate. It's inaccurate to say that the majority of bisexual men are queer, because only like 2% of those people who are bisexual men use the term queer or identify as queer. And that makes sense because we grow up as babies, we look around, we see the world. And you know, you hear of situations where like 4-year-olds and 3-year-olds and 5-year-olds will scream, like biologically born boys will scream about having to be put in a boy's clothing as opposed to girls' clothing. And it's not because we are born knowing, you know, that a dress means girl and blue means boy. No, very early, for like the first 2-3 years of our life, all we're doing is observing. We're saying, oh, that thing there is associated with that thing over there. And that thing there is associated with that. And very quickly we learn dresses are associated with girls, blue is associated with boys if you live in this particular time period in the American Western society. Like that is what we figure out super, super young. And if a person feels a child, a baby, even like a 3-4-year-old feels like they are more associated with this gender, then they will want to wear the things associated with this gender. So it's not like some sort of crazy thing where parents are forcing these norms on their children. No, children are making these decisions for themselves going, this is how I feel, and I should be wearing stuff that looks like that. That's what we're doing. So like the majority of people just accept and actually embrace the idea of dressing like their gender because they want to express themselves to the world in a way that's accurate to them. So the fact that Harry Styles or bisexual men, or there's some bisexual men who choose to reject this, it has nothing to do with the rest of us. It's just a thing that they do, and it's separate from one's sexuality. But yet somehow queerness has become tied to bisexuality in men in a way that's certainly uncomfortable for the vast majority of bisexual men, and that's got to stop. But in this case with Harry Styles, from what he has said, there seems to be some sort of tie-in there with his gender expression and probably his sexuality. And I think that there are a lot of bisexual guys who can identify with this. So even though he's an international rock star and people know him throughout the world, Harry Styles is clearly dealing with stuff that bisexual guys just like you deal with. And I'm actually kind of proud to have him as a part of, or potential part of, the bisexual community. And I'm very happy that he was been able to kind of embrace his gender queerness to an extent that he has. So what do you think? What do you think about Harry Styles coming out as genderqueer, not identifying, but yet letting the world know that he is genderqueer? And I consider this around on the equivalent of if a dude were to admit to the world that he has sex with other dudes, even though he doesn't like use the word bisexual, like he still came out. He still let the world know that he has sex with dudes. Like, I'm not saying Harry Styles did that. I'm saying that if a guy did that, then it would be, him coming out as bisexual. So Harry Styles is telling the world that he doesn't always embrace his gender's norms. So he has come out as genderqueer. What do you think about that? Do you think that he came out as genderqueer, not queer, but genderqueer? And if so, do you think he is now legitimately a part of the LGBTQ community? I'm so curious to know what the responses will be in the comment section, because, a lot of people have a lot of passion about Harry Styles, and a lot of people are invested in him being, LGBTQ or anything else. So let's have a conversation down there. And now let's talk about the Teespring t-shirts. I love my Powered By shirt. And I asked like a number of you in the community page questionnaire that I sent out or posted on the page about a giveaway. And I will be doing a giveaway. I have to find out from Teespring when that thing is going to go live. It's going to be page and stuff. But look for my community page section for the announcement of when the giveaway starts. I'm going to be giving away one of these Powered By t-shirts in black. So if you want a chance to win one for free and have it shipped to you for free, you should check that out. But if you just want to get one because you want to get it, sooner than that, you can get 15% off your purchase at Teespring on anything I sell there with the promo code HOLIDAY15, and a link to that is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, you can support me through Patreon. A link to that is in the description below. Or you can do it by checking out my audiobooks, the latest of which is In the Moonlight, an MMF bisexual romance, which came to Amazon this week. And I gotta say, I've done like 50-something audiobooks so far, like narrated 50-something audiobooks. And this is just the best one that I've done. Like, I enjoy the process of reading this so much because I laughed out loud a number of times. I know I wrote it myself, so I know my own humor. But it caused me to laugh out loud a number of times. The entire time, it was just this wonderful, lighthearted sort of experience. Now, it does have some teary moments, and it does have some super sexy moments. But overall, it was just a fun read and a fun story with twists and turns where you will not be able to see it coming. So if you'd like to support the channel, you can get one of those audiobooks, and you can get it with the link in the description below, and you can find your favorite outlet where it's being sold from there. But until then, you can listen to the 5-minute sample from In the Moonlight. That will be coming up as soon as I say, until next time, stay cooler, my bisexual friends. Stay cooler. Bye. And now a sample of In the Moonlight, an MMF bisexual romance by me, Alex Anders. Lisa Sammy drove to the first day of her temp assignment giddy with excitement. She didn't like the term fangirl, but for Wynn Wyatt, innovator, genius, and founder of the rocket company MoonX, that was exactly what she was. When her temporary assignment coordinator had called her and told her that MoonX was where she would be working, she couldn't believe it. Now here she was driving to MoonX's headquarters, about to work there for a day. It was like the start of every Wynn Wyatt fanfiction story she'd ever read. Lisa didn't want to blink because if this was a dream, She definitely didn't want to wake up. Having only recently graduated from college, working for MoonX was going to be the highlight of Lisa's young life. She had been following Win Wyatt's companies for years. He was basically a superhero billionaire genius with incredibly high cheekbones and washboard abs. How did Lisa know about the abs? Come on. She was a fangirl. The picture of him shirtless in the Bahamas running the Conkman Triathlon was a meme. She looked at it so often it may as well have been her brain's screensaver. And now, here she was about to spend a day working at his rocket company. She was literally tingling with joy. "Hi," Lisa said, leaning out of her car window with a huge smile. "Good morning," the man at the gate replied with nowhere near Lisa's enthusiasm. "Name, please?" "Lisa Sammy. I'm a temp. I'm supposed to be reporting to Tina Guzman in Hangar 1A. The portly, dark-skinned man retreated into his booth and consulted his computer. In a few seconds, he returned with a name tag. "Please wear this at all times. And you can park in Lot Pluto, which is back there," he explained, pointing to the lot across the street. "Okay, thank you." It turned out that the Pluto lot was as far away as it sounded. Lisa didn't care, though, because if a week earlier someone on the Win Wyatt Tumblr thread had told her that she would see the inside of MoonX in exchange for her left breast, she would have taken it. And her left breast was the good one. Hiking the quarter-mile to Hangar 1A was nothing compared to that. And if, while getting there, one of the fast-moving cars hit her as she crossed the four-laned highway, which somehow lacked a crosswalk, at least she would die happy. However, making peace with her possible death didn't actually help Lisa as she approached the freeway needing to cross. Looking down at her cutest 2-inch heels now layered with dust, she wondered if she could run across without tripping. Lisa had always been a bigger girl, so running was never her thing. Staring down the freeway at the cars, which were approaching very quickly, Lisa bent her knees and got ready to sprint. She could feel her heart pounding. This could literally be the day she died. There was nothing that was going to stop her, though. She was about to step foot into Win Wyatt's rocket lair. Was she going to let a reasonable chance of death stop her from that? Of course not. With the streets seemingly clear, Lisa took a deep breath and ran. Clutching her backpack and lunch, she didn't feel the need to look cute. This was survival. Feeling her body jiggle and then stop, she paused at the grassy divider and then ran on. It was as she crossed the second set of roads when Lisa considered if she was doing this all wrong. Win Wyatt couldn't expect his employees to survive life or death trials every morning before work, could he? Sure, he was known to hang glide and climb mountains, but his employees probably arrived to work not even having their first morning coffee. A live-action version of Lara Croft Tomb Raider seemed a lot to ask of them. Undeniably out of breath, Lisa came to a stop as she crossed onto the grass just outside of the facility's executive parking lot. From there, she was able to squeeze between the electric cars, all created by Win Wyatt's electric car company, and then walk up to the entrance of Hangar 1A. Entering what had to be the coolest rocket-themed lobby she had ever been in, she approached the receptionist. "Hi, I'm here to meet Tina Guzman in Hangar 1A. "Sure. 1 second. The man picked up the phone and called someone. "Yes, this is Juan from the front desk. I'm sorry, what's your name?" "Lisa Sammy." "I have a Lisa Sammy here to see you." Juan paused for a moment, thanked the person, and then hung up. "If you'd like to take a seat, Tina will be out in a moment to get you." Lisa felt her face flush hearing those words. She couldn't believe that she was here. Actually, she couldn't believe she was anywhere after crossing a 4-lane freeway. But on top of that, she couldn't believe that she was here. You've been listening to a sample of In the Moonlight. You can get the full audiobook at Audible, Amazon, iTunes, Google Play, Kobo, Nook Audiobooks, and most places in the world where audiobooks are sold. The link to all of the stores are in the description below. And when you're on my website, sign up for my newsletter to get free promo codes for my previous audiobooks when they become available. Enjoy.